Tell me if this sounds familiar. As soon as you stop the effort, the money stops coming in. This is true for 99% of people because whatever they do doesn't compound. They do not understand that they have the choice nowadays because we live through these beautiful times, the best times ever in the history of humanity. They have the opportunity to do tasks and to do things that compound over time, that even 5 years later keep earning them money. They do not understand this. And that's the point. This is the closest thing we have to real life magic, to alchemy. It is called intellectual property. And most people cannot understand that intellectual property is taking nothing, the nothingness, the brain worms that you have in your brain, and transforming it into something that's worthwhile by putting effort and not money, sometimes money, but whatever it is, transforming that thing that you have in your brain into something that is called intellectual property, whatever it is. It can be a video, a course, a cookbook, or even a novel, whatever it is, putting it out there, and then that thing earns you money, notoriety, all of these things that you want to have. And it is the best thing that you can do for yourself. And understand that in the beginning, you are going to suck at it. You're going to be very bad. Imagine this. It took me 1.5 years to make my first product, my first intellectual property. It took me 1.5 years. 1.5 years. And after I did the first one, it took me 2 weeks to make the second one. Almost the same quality. And then now, 5 years later, those two products still earn me money. But I can make another product like that in just 2 hours. What used to take me 1.5 years, it now takes me 2 hours. That's what it means to get better at doing intellectual property. But you see, I don't have to make more if I don't want. I can literally make YouTube videos if I want. And that's exactly what I'm doing. But I'm also doing that as well. But in my free time, I keep on doing these videos just because I'm mad and I have brain worms. And I like to talk to people and I like to engage myself into good conversations, into things that I create. And this is the exact same thing. This is intellectual property. I'm getting something. These ideas that I have in my brain, and I'm putting them out there. Of course, they're probably not gonna earn me any money. Not for 3 or 4 years. But you have to understand that these things always compound. Intellectual property almost always compounds. The more success you have, the more success you will have. That's what it is. But you have to understand that most people don't realize that even starting a business is still intellectual property. Because let's get to the scenario where you're just the owner. You don't put any effort into the business. All you earn is money. All you do is earn money from that business, earn dividends from that business. You don't do anything. You don't take any decisions. You don't do anything. What do you actually own? Nothing but intellectual rights, intellectual ownership of that business. You are the owner and you profit off of it. That's all you are doing. And you have to understand that businesses usually are like that. They are just intellectual property. You have to understand that they are nothing but the expression of your ideas. Whatever you have, whatever brain rotten worms you have in your head, that's your business. That's how crazy it is, and people do not understand it. All of these systems that you build in your business are just this. Just a thing that you have created from the deep recesses of your mind. The deepest, darkest corners of your mind have created this thing called a business. And now you are profiting off of it. And you have other people who actually listen to what you tell them to do. If you want to be that guy. But it doesn't matter if you do or you don't. All you have to do is realize that this is the closest thing to actually having magical powers. Intellectual property, when done right, feels like you literally take nothing and transform it into something that makes you money or builds your brand or whatever it is that you want to call it, builds your notoriety or just makes you feel amazing. Whatever it is, it's nothing. It always has been, and it is always going to be nothing. But that nothing starts to earn you stuff, and it compounds, and it builds on itself, as opposed to other things that whenever you stop the effort, everything stops. You stop getting any more money. You stop getting any more, whatever it is, sales or notoriety or goodwill from the people that you talk to. You have to understand that you have to build things that compound. And those things are literally just things from your head, systems, ideas. Intellectual property is something that if you build for yourself, you can earn money even 5 years later. And that's how crazy it is. If you build a business, even 5 years later, things that you did 5 years ago, a business that you built 5 years ago, now you put in 1 hour, 2 hours a day of effort or less, and you earn as much or more money that you used to earn when you started it. It just compounds and the effort just goes down, lower and lower and lower. Of course, if you are good at business, if you really build the business from the bottom with the idea of compounding your efforts. Let me give you just one example. Let's say you have your first employee and you train them and then they leave. And now you have your second employee. The problem is that you're going to have to train this employee to do the same exact thing that the first employee did. But if you are a little bit creative, you can literally use the same training that you used for the first person to train the second one without you needing to do that training. You can either pay someone to train them or you can build resources, videos with the training. While you're training the first person, you are already thinking of building the system in case the other person leaves, the first person that you hired. And that's how effort compounds. You have to realize that that training that you create with the first person can train you 100 employees, 1,000 employees. That's how crazy it is. That's how crazy it is. And people do not understand this. And you can do this with all of these things. And it hurts me to tell you this because I have not built things from the beginning like this. And I've lost a lot of processes, a lot of systems that I had in place that were working. I forgot how to make them. I forgot how to do them. Things that took me tens of hours to learn because it literally took me tens of hours to learn, but it was so easy to do after I learned it. But then I forgot it because years have passed and I do not remember how to do it. Now I have to basically put the same amount of effort because I didn't take the 5 minutes it would have taken me to make myself a codified video, something that really showed me whatever I had to know. Just 5 minutes. It took me just 5 minutes to actually do that. And I didn't take those 5 minutes. And because I didn't do that 5 minutes, I've lost tens of hours of research, of work, of things that I've learned because I did not build resources for myself. Intellectual property for myself. Understand that whenever you build intellectual property for yourself, not to earn money, but to actually learn things and to actually understand and to remember things and to actually build all of these lists, all of these processes, all of these systems. The more you do that, the more you will be able to do all of these things for others. And you will be able to create resources for them as well. That's what it takes. But you will probably think that you cannot do this. And that's because you judge yourself too much. Because judgment is the killer of creativity, productivity, and success. Whenever you judge yourself, you stop yourself from doing exactly what you need to do in order to learn, which is to be bad at things. Understand that that's what it takes to be better at things. First, you have to be bad for a long while, literally a year and a half. I was bad at making my first product. A year and a half, I sucked. And it was not hard, but it was difficult. It was just difficult. And I didn't know how to do it. And I had to figure it out. But once I did, now I can create many more other products. Not only of that kind, but many other kinds of products. Because I understood what it actually takes to create an intellectual property that's worthwhile for people to consume, to buy.